What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are having a good morning.
That's right. Back to morning time recording.
Yep.
Here at our regular studio time.
Yeah, and the people have spoken. We got the camera set up in here. We're not going live this morning, which I mean everybody that's watching or listening to this now knows, but we did have about a 90% vote for setting up the video version. Now, I will say this for people, we had a couple that voted no, and that's okay. Hey, I appreciate the honesty, but you don't have to worry. This is not going to like take away from the podcast version. We're still going to put up just the audio only. So,
it'll still be available everywhere it has been. It'll just now also be available on YouTube.
Yep. I mean, they may just really not want to look at us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I blame them. I didn't have my makeup artist touch me up this morning or anything. So
Yeah, mine was off.
What you see is what you get. So.
Yep. Well, now I'm excited. We got this set up, and Bobby Lee and I have been bouncing around some ideas. Again, we really want you guys to reach out to us. We've been considering or talking about some hats possibly and different apparel. I mean, we'd love to hear what you would want, if you would want any.
Yeah, that way we could do some giveaways and other kind of neat stuff too. But yeah, which I guess, of course, like usual, we're recording a day early, but did you see we're under a winter weather advisory?
We are?
Yep.
I saw where there was a winter storm, but I thought
yeah, it's all going to be more north and maybe even west of us. Well, that last one we had that kind of barely caught us, but didn't get anybody east of us. This is kind of doing the same thing, but I think we're going to be a little more in the clear. It was when I actually read the advisory, it's like less than 1/10 of an inch of ice potentially. I think it was actually starting at noon today on Wednesday, going through tomorrow night. But,
well, it's a lot colder this morning.
Yeah, but I guess because it's going to be right around freezing for the next 48 hours or so.
I just do not want any more of that crap.
I think it was kind of one of those things. They're throwing the advisory at us, but I think the potential for us to get much right here in Tipton County is pretty low.
Good.
But, yeah, exactly.
Good.
Exactly. I had 4 calves born Sunday, which it was like the low Sunday was like 60. I mean,
that was
unreal.
great weather for calving.
The Lord was definitely smiling down on me.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had one. I had 4 on Sunday and hadn't had any one since, unless I had one overnight. I hadn't been able to check them yet this morning, but if we could go another 48 hours or so without one going, I'd be happy. But
yeah,
I got a couple that look like they're close enough that I'd say it's probably unlikely, but as long as it's not brutally cold and wet, we'll be all right.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what, man, it's been, I've actually been on the track, been trying to run. I ran in the rain the other day, but just, now it's like a swamp out there, so I finally had to just get out of there.
Well, after that rain we had a week ago, it dried out pretty dang good. I was amazed.
It did. I feel like we got that packing kind of rain.
You're right. I was thinking the same thing. It rained so hard, so fast. It kind of packed the ground, and then most of it ran off, and so it wasn't a soaker.
Yeah.
But back to mud again.
Yes, it is very muddy now. Well, we got some interesting topics for you guys today. Again, tipping our hat to Matt that reached out. He had told us kind of the brands. He wanted us to do a brand rundown. We're going to dive into that this week. Before we get into that too, though, I think I had alluded to what I wanted to potentially buy last week.
Oh yeah.
When you recommended the car instead. And it was, and I've been looking at them. It's pretty cool. They do, they breed them for bull riding. It was a bull. I sent Bobby Lee this bull. There's a site on Facebook that it's basically an auction or market for bucking breed bulls.
Yeah.
And Phenom, I don't know how they pronounce it. Phenom Genetics. It's PHENOM Genetics. Oh, they're big, badass looking bulls.
Yeah. That's why I advised him to buy the car.
It would look cool out there.
Oh, he looked cool. He looks cool in the picture too, though.
Yeah, he does. Something, I don't remember what was wrong with him, which, I mean, they were up front. I
He
think
had some kind of a lameness or whatever, and
but he was a breeder, they said. He still he'd go lay some pipe.
see that's even that, any lameness issue. Yeah, I mean, obviously you worry about, well, yeah, he ain't gonna be much good as a bucking bull, but even breeding, that can be a really big problem, especially, which of course I don't know in the bucking bull world. Are they expecting those bulls to breed as
How
many
many?
cows
Yeah.
as we do? Just raising beef cattle, but yeah, having any sort of a foot problem or lameness issue or anything like that.
Yeah,
Usually in a breeding bull is one of the first things you're gonna say, nope.
Really?
That, or if he's just firing blanks, obviously that's
Yeah.
a disqualifying factor.
I think I don't remember if I think he had a couple of he had fathered a couple of kids, but calves, but whatever.
Well, they and yeah, a lot of them, if it's he's otherwise sound, he passes the rest of the breeding sound examination, but it's just his, again, a lameness issue. Yeah, he may be able to get a few of them bred, but first 3 or 4 cows in heat today, is he going to be able to cover all of them, kind of thing? But yeah, I don't know. Even a well, healthy, sound bucking bull, I don't know that I want to get into that world. That's I don't know. You see, just being a rodeo fan and watching, a lot of those guys that really do well, as far as stock contracting and stuff, they've been in that world and kind of immersed in it. And I don't know how easy it is to break into it. And I just don't know that I want to handle those animals on a regular basis. I've got a few cows that are a little bit tough to handle sometimes, and I deal with it. But that seems like that would be every single one of them, the whole herd.
Yeah. It was, I'll tell you, it was interesting actually, because it led me down a rabbit hole of the glorious YouTube and that Phenom Genetics, Phenom. They have they're not have a YouTube channel, but there was somebody had done a little 5-minute video about them, and then it led me down this other one. I cannot remember what the name of this other one was, but the other one, which the Phenom guys, they apparently do pretty big rodeo bulls. They're pretty big in that world. But there was another one, and I wish I could remember the name of the ranch or whatever, but they were the PBR bucking bull people. It was talking about all the line of these champion bulls that had come from this place, and it was one guy, and I mean he was the bull whisperer, because it kind of talked about him, and I mean he was I never go on vacation, I never leave, I'm always with these bulls. So, which that's not an aspect I would want, but I don't know, it's something appealing about, it'd be cool for a local rodeo if you could kind of go and show them. But I was trying to think, do we even have around here? Is there any local rodeo? This is something I've been kind of thinking about.
Well,
let's say I wanted to get Levi into the thing where they rope the calf.
Yeah,
do they do that around here?
Yeah, there's actually funny that you should bring it up. There's and I forget what the sanctioning group or whatever is, but there's kids rodeo, junior rodeos, whatever. They're gonna be not too far from here, because my wife's looking at it, because my daughter already does a lot of the equine sports, and then my son's only 4. But then they had kind of an asterisk beside the mutton busting. So
yeah,
it was pending. They weren't sure if they were going to have the mutton busting or not. And I was like, well, if they do, I would definitely, my 4-year-old, he would be down for that. I don't think he's gonna, when it comes to riding bucking stock, whether it's horses or bulls, most of those guys are not built like me or you.
No, they're short.
They're tiny dudes. I mean, it just makes that, you think about the physics of all that. It's a whole lot easier for a compact person, lower center of gravity. So I don't know that my son has any future in riding bucking stock. I would say he does not, because he's a pretty big kid for his age, or at least bigger than average. He's not gonna be,
and good chance to be tall.
Yeah. So, but I was like, hey, if he wants to ride a sheep and do some mutton busting at his age. But yeah, so there are those groups. And
Well, how far? Where's he going to be at?
this one, I believe, is in Decaturville, so it's going to be a couple-hour drive for us. But
Yeah.
that's not terrible. I think just for us personally, it set up good because most of the dates were on dates we weren't having softball tournaments because
Gotcha.
that starts for my daughter this weekend. So
Oh, yeah.
that's our Saturdays for about every other Saturday for the next 4 or 5 months. But yeah, they had all kinds of events that, of course, they don't do like regular steer wrestling, but they do what they call shoot dogging and stuff like that specifically for the kids. But and of course, they don't ride bulls, but they may. I don't know if they have like steer riding and that sort of thing at this level, but there are junior rodeos where they do all the pretty much typical events, and of course high school rodeo, and then of course there's college rodeo, and then you get up to the professional rodeos, and then all the professional rodeos. There's the big organizations that you
I'd
think
like to
of.
see them.
Well, and then there's the smaller ones, just the independent or open rodeos that they have them, right around here occasionally. And then there was a professional rodeo just down at South Haven.
The Pendleton?
Yeah.
Well,
no, that was the PBR.
Yeah.
And PBR is fine. PBR is a little different crowd than like the pro rodeo where they're doing all.
Well,
the
that's
events.
I remember when I was in Vegas, because that was what was that?
That was the NFR. So that was pro rodeo PRCA world finals.
That's what I remember you said. I think you told me that would be more probably the cattle crowd that I was
that's
familiar
more of a
with.
Western sports kind of crowd. And PBR, and I like PBR fine. I mean, it's bull riding. It's just bull riding, of course, but it's more of kind of a extreme sports kind of crowd. And the PBR has grown enormously because they've obviously branched out, and they're not, they're more mainstream than I guess the PRCA.
That's what I was going to say. I bet that they're kind of more modern.
Like they go to places like the PBR goes to New York City and places like that. But I enjoy a lot of the other events too. Calf roping, steer wrestling.
That's what I would like to see. I mean,
horses,
I showed Levi the mutton busting, and he was like,
that's hilarious.
It is hilarious. And actually, a buddy of mine, he just had his kid he went and did, I think he did some mutton busting, and he even rode, they had him on a little calf, but they like hold him because calf takes off a hell of a lot more than a little mutton or whatever, but
well, yeah, some of them just walk out of the chute.
Yeah.
The kid just falls off.
Yeah, you have to slide off.
Yeah.
Now, it's just funny to watch some of them that they'll take off and the kids don't let go. Like one of them, the kid was like almost completely sideways and he's still hanging on. But I don't know. I think, man, that'd be something I'd like to see. I wish we could see something around here. Like, close.
Like I said, that's probably about as close as we're going to get for any kind of.
Well, maybe Talk Dirt to Me needs to start putting on a.
Shoot, just hosting rodeos, sanctioning. I don't know. And I don't know about high school rodeos. Well, I know there's going to be a high school rodeo in Memphis coming up, I think next month, because I talked to somebody who their kids are doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think they were going to have like a junior rodeo or whatever for even the younger kids. And we're talking about my daughter going down there. But rodeo is fun. It's a neat crowd too. There's a lot of camaraderie because they are competing against each other, but then again, they're kind of not,
Yeah.
And so it's usually a pretty tight knit group. So
I think it'd be neat. I think we need to see something around here.
Oh yeah. I'm all for being a rodeo fan. I do not have any interest in being a stock contractor though. I will leave that to somebody else because I don't know. I imagine if you get into the level of like if you have bulls that are in the PBR and then pro rodeo and that level, there probably is pretty decent money in that. I don't know about if you're a stock contractor for smaller local rodeos. I doubt it's really lucrative.
I'm sure.
I doubt it's worth the pain of dealing with dealing with rough stock animals on a regular basis. But
that Phenom guy, he was like, when I travel, when we take our bulls, we never stop. He was like, I don't stop. People don't like to ride with me whenever I'm headed because he said, I don't stop to eat. I don't stop to go to the bathroom. Like, we don't stop. because he was like, it's all about the bulls, and
Get 'em where they're going.
so it's it's interesting. But no, man, I don't know. I think I'd like to see not provide the kind of the stock necessarily on like a local thing, but I think there would be a surprising amount of interest around here.
Oh, as far as from fans,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing.
And I think people would be. I think there's a lot of kids that would be interested in getting into it.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, then you need a venue, and like this time of year, I mean, rodeos kind of notorious. They'll go on even in nasty weather, but most all of them you see this time of year are in an indoor arena, and so of course that limits because we have outdoor arenas all over. There's endless opportunities when the weather's good, but yeah, it's a neat sport. It's a good one, I think. And I'm a big believer in getting your kids involved in something.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's regular sports, soccer and baseball, softball, or whether they're doing cheer and dance or whatever. But just getting them involved in something and getting them learn how to work with others. Socialize. That sort of thing, especially in this day and age where we shut down school, and that sort of thing. But anyway, yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, that's something, I don't know, something to kick around.
So, little rodeo talk for y'all this morning. But,
yep.
Yeah, I was going to wrap up the two little topics we talked on, the two news stories from last week. So, because both of them, I think, kind of came to an end more or less. But I guess first on the cattle being gunned down in New Mexico, that story really died. Like, you can't find hardly anything on it anymore, which makes the conspiracy theorist in me even more that there's somebody. But the final total, I think they said they got 47 on that first day.
Yeah.
I found one article that said they finally had killed 67 total.
So they went back?
Yeah. And the original plan was, I did find that, they were going to do 2 days. That, I guess it would have been the 10th and the 11th. But it just, the more I think about it, they announced on the 4th, February 4th, they were going to do this. And 6 days later, they had the chopper in the air.
They didn't waste no time.
I'm like, that does not sound like the government.
No.
At all. Like, they should have, I would have figured they would have had to have formed a committee to like explore like which helicopter, flying company they can't do anything.
Nothing quickly at all. Yeah.
So, and then the fact that the story just died made me think, somebody somewhere, I don't know what their angle was, what their reasoning was, but I don't know. We needed an investigative journalist to really dive into that one for us.
Yeah, but maybe you're that guy.
Yeah, no, I am no journalist. But the only other thing on that one was there was the debate of whether these were stray cattle or feral cattle.
Yeah,
and I think the ultimate, conclusion was these are actually ferals. Like, they don't belong to anybody, because if they're strays, and this is based on New Mexico law, they're the responsibility of their livestock board. Which the livestock board, their stance was, well, these aren't strays. These didn't get away from anybody. These are like offspring maybe of strays from several generations, or at least a generation removed from really being stray cattle. So anyway, that story kind of died. I don't know that we'll bring that one up again unless something come resurface.
Unless we get one of those tactical cowboys.
Well, yeah. Now that would be an awesome guess. But as far as for our avocado fans out there, you can rest easy. The import ban has been lifted.
Well, that didn't last long.
I didn't figure it would. There's too much money involved, which I did find that figure. The annual export from Mexico to U.S. of avocados, $2.8 billion.
Wow, that much in avocados.
Just from Mexico to the U.S.
Dang.
And so now you can see why the cartels get involved and everything else. And the what I did find out more there too was the threat was specifically related to an inspector refusing to certify a shipment. And so he or she, I don't know if it was, what the preferred pronouns of our inspector were, but it was over a shipment that they wouldn't certify, I guess, because of pest concerns or some concern they had. And
so the cartel was like, we will kill you.
Somebody got upset that, like, no, you're not going to be refusing our shipments. But then they said, that they had done, researched it or or reviewed the safety measures and assured that our inspectors were safe. And that's why they lifted the ban, which my theory is that now we enacted a ban because we were pretty much flexing our muscle back at it, which I hope is what we were doing.
Yeah.
I tell them, no, you're not going to push us around. If you do, we'll cripple your industry.
Yeah.
At least temporarily. So, yeah, I had some guacamole last night. So, homemade.
I did not partake in the avocado.
It was Taco Tuesday, man. I had to have some guac.
See, I actually had pizza last night, so I didn't even partake in the tacos.
I had tacos for lunch and dinner.
Dang.
Yeah, man.
Now that's good though. See, I could eat tacos that often.
Well, we had beef tacos, of course.
Yeah.
There's always going to be at least
I figured
one
you ate chicken
for lunch. Now, it was beef, and then I had fish tacos for dinner. So
okay, so you kind of went
mixed
vegan.
it up. Fish is not vegan. That's still a meat. My wife had some fish she had bought and put in the refrigerator and forgot about it. I was like, well, we need to eat that fish. So
yeah.
I'm like, well, it's easy to make tacos.
There you go.
Make tacos out of anything.
There you can, man. Well, we got us a pizza. Well, all right. Well, that's I think that's cool. Let's dive in here. Let's actually start. We'll go tractors, trucks, and cattle.
Okay, as far as our preferred
Our order, yeah.
brand.
Yep. Because we've been talking a little rodeo and cattle, and we have a lot of people that really enjoy the cattle side. So we'll make them stick around to the end.
That's right.
To hear our favorite breed.
We like our teasers, yeah.
Yep. All right. Tractor. I mean, I got a kind of an interesting one on that one, but I'll let you take the lead on that one. What's your favorite brand of tractor?
So favorite, I mean, I think I'm going to be pretty boring here and say John Deere. I mean, that is my favorite. I do not own a John Deere. Being a part-time guy, I can't quite afford one of those. I look at them on the internet and dream about them some days, and which of course the price of everything is so freaking high.
Oh, it's terrible.
Every time I look, I myself have owned 2 tractors now. Both have been Kubotas, been great tractors. I do think for the like 150 horsepower and smaller, which Kubota goes even up a good bit bigger than that. You might even say 200 horsepower and smaller.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've got like one considered a row crop tractor now.
They may have one that's like in the mid 200s even, but I think you can safely say under 200, certainly under 150 horsepower, they make a very comparable machine to a John Deere. It's still not a John Deere, but, and I always say, and I always joke about this on my YouTube, biggest complaint I have with my tractor is the cup holders.
Really?
Mine, the first Kubota I had pretty decent cup holder, and actually the one I have now is I think 2 years newer. It has a cup holder. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, what that Japanese engineer had.
What is it?
It's so shallow.
Oh, does the cup fall out?
It won't hold. I have spilled so much coffee in that tractor. So if anybody wants to buy it from me when I sell it, yeah, you might want to
invest in a different type of cup holder.
Yeah, which I need to look. There's got to be some kind of a suction cup one you can just stick to the window that's just a D.
Oh, I'm sure. Or you might not should have said that. You might have just given away like $1 million idea.
Yeah. Hey, we might come out with a
talk dirt to me.
When we get the store up and running, we'll have hats and cup holders for tractors. But, I think it's got to be John Deere. I wouldn't ever be opposed if the right deal came along, because I'm not ever buying a new one typically. Yeah. If I found a good deal on a red one, on a case, I wouldn't necessarily turn it down. The deal with tractors, I think, I want to buy one where I'm going to have a good local dealer where I can go to for parts very easily or service.
That's the name of the game there.
Yeah. I don't think Blue Tractor necessarily bad Fords, but I don't even know where our closest dealer would be.
New Holland, yeah.
Yeah, Agco and Ford New Holland. Like Agco, I think those Massey's and like those new Fence.
Oh, them Fence are badass.
They are, but like good. I don't know that we have a dealer within a couple of states of us.
Well, I think there's one in Arkansas now. That the Fence are the most badass tractors I've ever been around. Not really been around a whole lot, but I've looked at them.
Oh yeah, I've looked at them and like, man, those are awesome. They're like, they're you don't go from John Deere to Fent because they're cheaper.
No, Fent's probably higher. They may even be more than that.
But that's Agco. They're same as like Massey Ferguson, I believe, aren't
Yeah.
they? Which I do know there's a Massey dealer not too far from us over in Arkansas, but yeah, same thing. It's not as close by as we have Kubota and John Deere dealers. So
Yeah.
I'm typically probably going to stick to one of those two brands.
Yeah. Well, that's what, for me, like, I'll tell you one of my favorite things about Fendt. Fendt makes a black tractor, and like my heart is black. Like I love black. If I could order a John Deere in black, that'd be what I'd want. And like I even talked to a buddy about wrapping my 8420 in black. I was like, that would be the sickest tractor. And so I love that. Fendt has a killer tractors, and I mean I've seen guys talk about how great a tractor they are, but they do have a dealer in Arkansas. But that is getting parts is the main thing because it's going to tear up. I mean I don't care.
You can have minor breakdowns, major breakdowns, maybe. I mean, just need filters,
Yeah.
basic stuff, which some of that you can maybe plan ahead and get it shipped in. But yeah, you need a dealer within I mean, you'd like to have one within just a few minutes drive.
Yeah, no, like
but we don't have any of those.
No, I mean that's like, I mean honestly, already we're driving. It takes about 40 minutes to get to a John Deere dealership, and it's about the same drive on 40 to 45 minutes to get to Case.
Yeah,
and I mean I pretty much am gonna be a green guy, man. I like John Deere. I've thought about trying out a red combine, which that's what originally we started red combines because they're cheaper. They were cheaper. Let me put a caveat. At this point now, all of them cost about the same. Like Case used to be a good bit cheaper than John Deere, and that isn't the case anymore. But I will say I still think John Deere is kind of the Cadillac when it comes to them too. I mean, Case or John Deere is going to be what we're going to use. We use a lot of Case. Like I'm a Case planter guy. I like a red planter. I guess I'm kind of going off of the tractor a little bit, but I mean, I run a red planter with a green tractor, and the red planters tell people you can plant in concrete with them things, man. They will plant in anything. So I love a red planter. Tractor wise, John Deere, that's just, I mean, I still think they're better tractors. Like the most god awful tractor I've ever ran is that 5488 Case. I've told Dad I was going to drive it off into the river. Like when they're out, what little I ran that thing, I was like, that tractor is the biggest piece of shit on the planet. Like the guy that engineered that needs to be executed. Like, it's the roughest riding tractor. It's the steering wheel. I mean, you drove it. You can barely turn the steering wheel.
I drove it home whenever they bought it.
Yeah. It's a little better than when you drove it, but I remember it like you'd have to take like both hands to turn that joker. Yeah. I hate that tractor. Now I learned a lot on the 1066. I actually love that tractor, but
1066 is a classic.
It is. That's like an old hot rod to me, but I love that tractor. I mean, Levi, that's like his favorite tractor. But 5488, I'd rather get shot in the thigh than drive that tractor again. But trying to think anything else. The John Deeres, man, they just, I think
that is the easy answer, and we didn't say that one because it's easy, but around here that's. As far as dealerships, when we do have good Kubota dealers in the area too, but
well, see, I looked at some New Hollands at one time because they were a little cheaper. You could get pretty big horsepower for cheaper.
We have a dealer. It was one in Paris, maybe.
Man, I'm not even real sure. That was kind of the big thing. Like,
but Paris is 2.5 hours. From us. I mean,
that's what it was. Like, because I had found one. I mean, it was like a 320 horse tractor. I mean, like my 8420 is supposed to be about a 290 horse, 295. And I liked it. I bought it at auction. Now, luckily, I bought it really before all of this COVID crap. And I got a pretty good deal on it. Now, that tractor would be probably about 20 or 30 grand more than what I paid for it. But I like it because it's a 2004. It had pretty low hours and has no emissions stuff on it. So it's wide open. That's actually, so it was funny when I drove it home and I actually took it to John Deere and I had them put new rear main seals and all that stuff in it to kind of work the lower end of the motor. It had about 4,500 hours on it, I think, when I bought it. And now, like around 5,000 hours, you like to get the motor reworked. So I got all that done, and I was driving it home from John Deere, which is in Ripley, and I was coming through Covington. And man, that thing, it kind of was being a turd coming home. And like when I would take off, I'd stop and take off and just, I mean, the sky would disappear in black smoke. Like it was like just filling the sky with black smoke. And I'm like, damn, what the hell is going on here? And I pulled over and the whoever had worked on the motor had like not attached the boot or something to the turbo.
Yeah.
So it was basically just like, I mean, pouring black smoke. It looked cool, but I mean,
I figure you were gonna say, 'cause when my truck blew the turbo boot off, it was the same thing.
Oh, dude, it was wild. But no, man, I am still a guy that will say John Deere tractors are better than Case tractors.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly easy one, and you're talking more big row crop and.
Yeah, I cannot speak on. I've run the small like John Deere like they got out here, but I've never run a small Case.
And I think, I haven't either. Yeah, I've run some older, small Ford tractors and that sort of thing. I guess some much older small.
I was gonna say, that engineering would be long gone.
Yeah, and so I think John Deere. I mean, when you're talking 100 horse and even under, John Deere makes a really good machine. I think Kubota does there as well. I can't really speak on anything.
And I guess the Kubota though, now they're probably better on the price than John Deere.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly why I have one. And, and a lot of that's just the name as much as anything, I think.
John Deere is the Harley Davidson of tractors.
Right. Yeah, just that brand recognition. I mean, everybody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't talk to any city kid and wherever that doesn't know what a John Deere is. But there's people out there that probably never heard of Kubota.
Even hipsters wear John Deere stuff.
I mean,
like that's one of which is annoying to me. But
and that is one of the kind of cool things. Like when you see somebody, which you don't see many people with like a Case or a Kubota license plate on their truck. But like if you see somebody that has like a Case license plate, you're like, okay, they're legit. Like they don't just. But there's a lot of John Deere apparel and license plates.
That is
on
true.
Trucks that are just.
I've never seen like a guy with a Case license plate that was like got out in skinny jeans and, which I mean around here I haven't with John Deere, but I mean you might see like you're liable to turn on the TV and see like, I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio wearing a John Deere hat, and that man ain't ever touched a John Deere tractor in his life. But I mean, you're probably not going to see them get out with like a Case IH hat on.
Well, this is where some people, they, especially like with the internet nowadays, they get into the, are you a real farmer or not, and that kind of thing, and they think they're more legit because they don't go with the mainstream brand or whatever. But there's a reason John Deere is the biggest.
I file a Schedule F every year. I can come show them.
That's right.
All right, trucks.
So, and my truck brands, I guess you too. We've driven kind of. Lord, I've driven all the major ones, I guess, at some point or another. Right now, I mean, the simple answer, I would have to say Ford because I have 2 Ford trucks. I have a old farm truck, and then, well, even what I consider my new truck's about 8 years old. But I don't know. If you'd asked me 15 years ago, I'd have told you I'm never going to drive anything but a GMC.
Yeah.
Because we had a local dealer that, as long as he was in business, there was zero chance I was buying a truck from anybody else. And then when General Motors went through its whole bankruptcy and the government bailout, that just, I never could look at them the same again. It's Government Motors now. That's what GM stands for. I don't know. I drove a Ram, and I had it wasn't major issues, but it had an issue, a bug they could not work out of it. It was an oxygen sensor issue on a brand new truck. I mean, I had it at the dealership. Some days I wouldn't even get home from the service department at the dealership for the light would come back on, and I finally traded out of that truck, and I guess I've driven nothing but Fords ever since then, and I've had no major issues at all with my Fords. So I don't know. The easy answer there is just Ford. Ford for right now. If I had to buy a new truck today, well, I'd probably cry first.
Ooh, man, yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, for kind of some of the reasons I just have a bad taste in my mouth with GM, and I don't know. I think a better debate is if I had to buy another one right now, would I buy a gas or a diesel? Because I have 2 diesel trucks, but I don't know the maintenance and upkeep on them, and well, just diesel costs so much. And I know a few people that are running like F-350s with that new gas engine that
Godzilla.
Yeah, I think it's a 7.3, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I've got 7.3 diesel in my old truck, but yeah, they don't get very good fuel mileage. But when you figure the cost difference just on the sticker price, and then just the maintenance being so much cheaper, I don't know that might not be the better route to go if I had to buy a new one today.
Yeah, man. That's Dad's he prefers gas, but man, I like the diesels, which I like to kind of tinker with them a little bit on the power. But man,
well, and that's kind of the other problem with buying a diesel. You buy one, and hell, you need to put another how much money are you going to spend on it?
At this point,
right
now you're going to spend about, oh man, you might spend $5,000.
Yeah, and so that and I have done that to one. And
but luckily back then it was you were looking at about $1,500.
Yeah, but it's kind of annoying that I buy a truck and I have to.
Oh yeah,
all this crap that they do to it.
But it's not the diesel's fault; it's the damn government's fault.
Well, you're right about that, but I don't know. Yeah.
Now we are not officially saying that our trucks are not compliant.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, that's my brother, and this is another thing I'm going to keep. Yeah, I guess I'm shit bagging on GM, but he doesn't learn very quickly apparently, because he had a half-ton of gas burner. Engine went out at like 90,000 miles.
I remember, would it throw a rod or something?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, are you kidding me? 90,000 miles? Like a truck should run for at least twice that long before having, a major issue like that. Then, which more about the issue he had with his newer truck, he's got a diesel Duramax. What was it? Fuel injector? Not fuel injector, fuel pump.
Fuel pump.
But it ruins the injectors. And oh God, it's like a $8,000 fix.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. Ram's the only one that doesn't have that.
Right. Well, and I knew, Ford could, but Ford has a whole lot less issue with it.
Because they got a lift pump. Ford has a lift pump from the factory. But when I was still machining, that was one of the first times I'd ever heard of it, because my boss had an F-350 Platinum. It had like 25,000 miles on it, and he was driving to Texas to go fishing, and his did it. And
see, my brother's truck didn't have much more than that. I mean, for a diesel, that's a brand new freaking truck. And,
oh yeah, man. I mean, heck, 100,000 miles is like a new diesel to me.
Oh yeah, but my brother's, of course, it was out of warranty.
Yep.
And $8,000, $9,000, whatever it was, out of pocket to fix it. That is what you mean nowadays. I mean, that ain't, when you look at what you have to buy a new one for, you're like, okay, well, $8,000-9,000 ain't that much. But still, I was like, man, it's like, if you ever buy another Chevrolet, you're stupid.
Man,
you've had 2. I guess it was 2 in a row because he had a truck in between those. But you've had major issues out of trucks way before that you should.
See, and I'm like, I still enjoy my GMs, man. I've had really good luck out of them. Like I've gone through a lot of trucks. I used to trade like crazy, and I had that little Toyota. I loved that truck. Now, obviously, it wasn't a work truck. I was driving it back and forth to Memphis.
Yeah.
And it got obliterated when I got T-boned. But that truck was a pretty solid truck. And actually, I'm pretty sure a Toyota might be the most American-built, brand.
Well, and if I was buying a half-ton truck today, I would strongly consider.
They look pretty tough, too. I like the looks of them.
The Tundra. I just playing around on the internet sometimes, just looking at what I could get one for. Because I think we mentioned that last week. Because I drive either an 02 Jeep or an 02 F-350. Those are my two kind of daily drivers.
Yeah.
And the F-350 is only an extended cab, and so I can't really haul kids very well in either one of my vehicles. So I'm like, man, it'd be nice to have just a 4-door half-ton truck or even like an SUV.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tundras are nice.
They are.
I can't say that I wouldn't.
Well,
I've never owned one, so I can't really say it's my favorite.
Well, I guess mine was a Tacoma. It was a little single cab, tiny truck. But, I mean, and I loved it. It had a 5-speed in it. I really liked the manual in there.
That's why I love driving the Jeep.
Yeah.
When my dad, because I bought that Jeep, of course, from my dad, and he got a new Jeep. I like a Jeep with an automatic transmission. That's just, it's like non-alcoholic beer.
It is, yeah.
What's the point?
That is, I mean, yeah. I mean, I liked it. I liked the manual, but I've had one Ford. I had that F-350, but now it had a lot of power, but I just did not like the truck, and I felt a little gay driving a Ford.
Well, growing up, like in the 90s, like, oh man, we hated on Ford like crazy, but yeah, when the two things that turned me off to GM, which I think they were probably related, when that one particular dealer we always did business with, when they took his dealership from him, I don't think they even was part of GM, accepting that government bailout. And then the fact that, I just feel like the government, I don't know. And
none of them are, well, it bugs me.
Right,
none of them are American like anymore, and they all get the subsidy or get government money. They all cater to the politics. In all honesty, if I had to look at one and like what they support, Ram would be more in line.
Well, that's what I was saying. If I couldn't buy a Ford, I'd probably look hard at them more so. Yeah. I don't know. If I found the right deal on a used one, I'd probably go with any of them.
Yeah.
I mean, because unlike the tractors, of course, we've got dealers everywhere for all of them, so you can get service. But I don't know if we've given a real clear answer on trucks.
You would buy the Tesla truck.
I don't know much about it. I mean, being electric, I have obvious immediate concerns, but I would at least entertain the idea.
Yeah, I would too. It's a hideous truck, but I would look at it.
Yeah, I think I've seen some pictures. Yeah,
Joe Rogan I think has one.
I wouldn't doubt it. He and Elon are pretty tight.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they were making them yet though. I thought it was still
I think Joe's got one. I got a book I got to recommend when we get done. I'll make a note here on that. You made me think of it with Elon. Well, I'm going to say, all right, if you had to buy one today and funds weren't a problem, I feel like you're going to go with Ford.
Brand new. Yeah, probably so.
Okay. Yeah. Bobby Lee will leave out with his rainbow sticker on his Ford. No, I would probably still today buy another Duramax. I've had good luck with them, but I'd be torn. I will say I'm on the diesel side. This is one more little caveat I can add. I've always loved diesels, but now mine's a 15 and my service truck's a 12. Both of them fell into that $1,500 range of deleting them. I guess I'm like, they never get off.
Yeah, I was about to say, you only use them on the farm, so.
Yes, they never get on the road. But if you were going to do that today, I mean, on a new truck, I think you're going to spend about $5,000, and that would be one hell of a pill to swallow.
Which, again, with the kind of caveat that money's not an option, I'd probably go back with the diesel.
Yeah.
I mean, our money's not an issue.
Yeah.
I think otherwise I would strongly consider if I had to buy a brand new.
Looking at a gas burner.
Yeah.
The new ones, dads, they get god awful fuel mileage. Like I said, they do get about.
You're right, but gas is a whole lot cheaper than diesel currently. And
is it? Isn't it like $3?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say but it's cheaper than diesel though. And like I think on a new Power Stroke, I think it's like a $8,000 upgrade.
It is. Yeah.
Option to go from to the Power Stroke versus the gas. Like, Lord, you got to put a lot of fuel through one to pay for that. And then, if you're going to spend the money to make it right, and then just basic oil changes cost you twice as much.
Oh, yeah, it's twice. Well, that's what I've
always. Anything goes wrong. Well, I just got my old truck, the farm truck, out of the shop last week. which I don't know. It could have had those same issues as a gas burner, but $1,800 worth of repairs, which was all stuff it needed, and it was a bunch of stuff. I mean, the truck's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Nothing really major. It was just about 5 or 6 different things. And
you got to pay to play in the diesel world. That's what I tell everybody. Like, I got several people that have like, man, I really like to get a diesel. What do you think? And I'm like, just don't. You better be ready to shell them out.
Yeah, driving a diesel just because it's cool. Like, yeah, I wouldn't. I would not. I would not recommend it. I mean, again, if money is no thing to you, maybe so.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Last one. Favorite breed of cattle.
I'm probably gonna cop out on this one too and say I think a crossbred cow, like for what I'm doing, commercial, I like them with a little bit of Brahma influence. I like just how tough they are, how heat tolerant they are, insect. You know, we were crossbreeding a lot of Herefords there at one time. Or say a lot for me with the Brahma bull to make that F1 Brayford, those tiger stripe, man, they are cool. They are cool looking.
Yeah.
Disposition on them can be a little questionable at times. But so I don't know, maybe something with a little lower percentage. You know, you don't want maybe a 50% Brahman female there, but with some Brahma influence, you know, even like a Brangus, I think they make a dang good mama cow.
Yeah.
There was a saying, and I can't remember exactly how it went when I was in school, but, you know, they had asked one of our animal science professors, you know, or somebody had posed the question, what's your favorite breed of cattle? And they said, you know, an Angus on your plate, you know, a Hereford in the pasture, you know, and you know, whatever, because there's different breeds excel maybe in different areas.
Yeah.
But I think for commercial beef cattle, you know, that hybrid vigor, you know, getting as, you know, trying to take kind of some of the best traits from multiple breeds out there. So I don't know. I think a Hereford's cool.
Yeah.
We still got a bunch of Hereford females. They're very docile. You know, they can have some of their issues, so they're not perfect. You know, the Angus Association has just they've spent so much money in marketing.
I was going to say, they've done a hell of a job marketing.
Like that, they have convinced some people that, you know, some people believe if it ain't green, it ain't a tractor.
Yeah.
Some people believe if it ain't black, it ain't a cow.
Yeah, if it don't have a certified Angus stamp on there.
Which, of course, may have very low percentage of actual Angus DNA.
Yeah.
Or none even, potentially. But, yeah, so I think actually I'm looking at because my cows, heck, the diversity people would love looking at my herd because I've got some Hereford cows. I've got some just black kind of Angus looking cows, some Brangus cows, some of those Brayfords, some Charolais looking cows. I got everything. We run the full rainbow, but I'm looking at actually this Saturday there's a Brangus sale. I'm gonna try to buy a bull or maybe even 2 or 3 because I like that Brangus genetics.
Yeah.
Like you can still get that black hide, but with the hybrid vigor. So,
well, you get the dummy answer now with me because I am like just a playtime cattleman here. Mine is based strictly off of just the cool looks, and I like Charolais or Gelbvieh.
Okay. Well, I thought you were going to say something like the Brayford. Because, you know, the Brayford has that bucking bull kind of look to them.
Yeah.
They're tiger
Oh,
striped.
I mean, what was it? It was
a lot of them are horned.
A char bray. Wasn't that what Bodacious was?
Oh, Lord, I don't even know. A lot of those bucking bulls, they're kind of a mix,
Yeah.
composite. You know, a lot of Brahma influence.
Let me see here.
In there. But
that one would be definitely at the top. But from just, if I was going with just kind of your normal, I like Charolais because they look awesome, like a solid white cow to me.
Well, they're big. They're a big kind of heavy muscled breed.
Yep. But the Gelbvieh, I mean, I had to say Gelbvieh because I got my little red cow out here.
Yeah, Gelbvieh can be black or red, I think.
Yeah. See, I think it's a char.
We actually, when I say our dad's operation, we bought 1 or 2 Gelbvieh bulls.
Yeah.
Some I had gone and picked out for them. It's been 5 or 6 years ago. But,
Bodacious was a char bray.
There's endless debates you could have on this, which and I don't like he mentioned horses, but I will throw this out there as we near the end. There's only one breed of horse. Like I
It's
am
a Mustang.
Yeah, the Mustang, the Pasifino. No, absolutely not. Sorry, anybody out there. It's quarter horses. I mean, there's just. I mean, what I was raised around, and I say that I actually, our two horses, your non-ponies that we own right now, are actually Appendix, which is a quarter horse thoroughbred cross. Which, I mean, so I guess I am, but quarter horse. I mean, to me, there is no other breed.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
If you said, all right, you can't have a quarter horse, I honest to God would say,
I don't want a horse.
Well, give me a mule.
Yeah.
Which I may have just a little bit of bias there because my brothers-in-laws are really big into the mule world, and those mules are pretty cool. And, and they
do some work.
They can train them and breed them to, which of course you don't breed mules, but you breed a donkey and a horse to get a mule. But they for working cattle even they have them. They do pretty much all the same events, as far as, horse showing and whatnot that you can do with a horse. So, but it would be a quarter horse mule. Yeah. Because they have draft mules, everything. But anyway, if it ain't a quarter horse, you just give me a mule.
There you go. Well, I think that was a pretty good little rundown on there. So we're nearing our time here. So what's the company for us today?
Okay. So yeah, our U.S. manufacturing, American made. We'll go with Tally scope rings today. So back to kind of the firearms industry, we hit on that one a lot, I feel like, but definitely a product I currently use.
I've got some on the rifle, right? On my
actually,
Tika.
I'll shout out some of our previous companies. My Volquartsen 22 rifle that I recently got. I've put my Tally scope rings on there. My loophole scope, so I've
very American.
I have a very, very patriotic setup there.
Yeah.
But
have you shot it?
See, you put me on the spot. I have not.
Oh man,
that is on my list.
But see, I can say because I've shot them, so I know that they're legit. But that's what I'm like. That's why I'm antsy for you to shoot the thing.
Well, and I have used the Tally scope rings and other setups as well. But yeah, that most recent. Yeah, I don't have to. And squirrel season ends, I think it usually ends the very end of February. So I guess technically we have until Monday to squirrel hunt, but I haven't. I keep saying like, hey, I'm going to sight in that rifle one afternoon and then take it squirrel hunting one time. I'm more of a fall time squirrel hunter. It will definitely be in the woods come into August, 1st of September. But
well, that's I mean, I can vouch for I've got the Tally rings on my 300 Win Mag. I got a Tika. And I've got tallies on it, and it work. They're awesome. I mean, that thing kicks like a freight train. So it's they done a great job. But awesome, man. Tally rings, check them out.
Yeah, American made. That's what we're about.
And I just received a question. Actually, I just got an email. Somebody just posted a question on our page. So we'll dive into that one next week.
Good deal. Yeah, as always. And I did get a lot of comments this week on my YouTube and maybe even a couple through Instagram from people reaching out saying they're listening to the podcast. And so that's awesome. I mean, even if you don't have a question, say, hey, I'm an early riser anyway, but when the alarm goes off at 4 a.m. on a Wednesday, it makes it a little easier to get up. Somebody's going to actually listen and enjoy it. So.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, let us know. And we'll get obviously some of you will be watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think.
I guess we'll be creating a Talk Dirt to Me YouTube channel. Subscribe on there. Subscribe to the actual podcast, whatever platform you listen on. And, rate it.
Please. I'm telling you, man, we get way more downloads than we have ratings. We have 19 ratings on the Apple Podcast.
And it's weird, like why the rating matters so much, but and I can't explain it, but
it's the algorithms.
It pushes the algorithm, whatever.
Yeah. If you want to see us continue to push forward and improve, we need you to go rate it.
Yeah. On YouTube, click the thumbs up button. Why that matters so freaking much, again, I don't know. But I mean, clicking the thumbs up takes not even a second.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank y'all.
Yep. Y'all have a good one.